Hello, my name is Leo. Welcome to another reading of the Elder Scrolls. Today we're going to be reading Morningstar, Book 1 of 2920, The Last Year of the First Era, by Cardivac Townway. First of Morningstar, 2920, Mornhold, Morrowind. Alexia lay in a bed of fur, dreaming. Not until the sun burned through her window, infusing the light, wood, and flesh colors of her chamber in a milky glow, did she open her eyes. It was quiet and serene, a stunning reverse of flavor of her dreams, so full of blood and celebration. For a few moments she simply stared at the ceiling, trying to sort through her visions. In the courtyard of her palace was a boiling pool which steamed in the coolness of the winter morning. At the wave of her hand it cleared, and she saw the face and form of her lover, Vivek. Wait, I thought... keep going. In his study to the north. She did not want to speak right away. He looked so handsome in his dark red robes, writing his poetry as he did every morning. Sorry, I thought Alexia was the lover of Nereva. This is after that. This is after the Battle of Red Mountain? Yeah, the Battle of Red Mountain went in the first era. Somewhere in the middle of the first era. Remember, we looked it up. Yeah, that's true. Vivek, she said. And he raised his head in a smile, looking at her face across thousands of miles. Oh, they're FaceTiming. Oh, that's cute. I have seen a vision of the end of the war. But who said that? After 80 years? I don't think anyone can imagine an end, said Vivek with a smile. But he grew serious, trusting in Alexia's prophecies. Who will win? Morrowind or the Cyrodiilic Empire? Without Sotha Sea in Morrowind, we will lose, she replied. Wait, who's saying that? I can't tell who's talking. I think that's Vivek. My intelligence tells me the Empire will strike us to the north in early springtide. By first seed at the latest. Could you go to Atram and convince him to return? I'll leave today, she said simply. Fourth of Morningstar, 2920, Gideon, Black Marsh. The Empress paced around her cell. Wintertide gave her wasteful energy. While in the summer, she would merely sit by her window and be grateful for each breath of stale swamp wind that came to cool her. Across the room, her unfinished tapestry of a dance at the imperial court seemed to mock her. She ripped it from its frame, tearing the pieces apart as they drifted to the floor. Then she laughed at her own useless gesture of defiance. She would have plenty of time to repair it and craft 100 more. The Emperor had locked her up. Really? Wait, who are we talking about? When you say the Empress, are you talking about Alexia? Yeah. I don't know. Okay. The Emperor had locked her up in Castle Giovis 7 years ago, and would likely keep her here until he or she died. With a sigh, she pulled the cord to call her knight Zook. He appeared at the door within minutes, fully uniformed as befitting an imperial guard. Most of the native Kothringi tribesmen of Black Marsh preferred to go naked, but Zook had taken a positive delight to fashion. His silver reflective skin was scarcely visible, only on his face, neck, and hands, and his crotch. Your Highness, he said with a bow. With a bow, sorry, but not a bow, a bow. I always get those two mixed up. Well, I mean, it's the same spelling. What are you going to do? Zook, said Empress Talva. Okay, it's not Alexia. I'm bored. Let's discuss methods of assassinating my husband today. Okay. Wow, feisty lady. 14th of Morningstar, 2920. The Imperial City, Cyrodiil. The chimes proclaiming South Wind's prayer echoed through the wide boulevards and gardens of the Imperial City, calling all to their temples. The Emperor, Remenan III, oh right, of course, it's not I don't know why I was thinking it's Uriel Septim VII. This is the first fucking era. Sorry. The Emperor Remnant III. It's not even Tiber Septim's time. Tiber Septim started in the beginning of the Third Era. Always attended a service at the Temple of the One. Wait, what's the Temple of the One? One God? I don't know. While his son and heir Prince Judic found it more political to attend a service at a different temple for each religious holiday. This year, it was at the Cathedral Benevolence of Mara. The Benevolence's services were mercifully short, but it was not until well after noon that the Emperor was able to return to the palace. By then, the arena combatants were impatiently waiting for the start of the ceremony. The crowd was far less restless, as the you can do it. Potentate? Good enough. Versailles Sarai had arranged for a demonstration from a troupe of Khajiit acrobats. Your religion is so much more convenient than mine, said the Emperor to his potentate. I don't know how to say that word. By the way of an apology. What is the first game? A Khajiit? Yes. Maybe? I'm not sure if it's a Khajiit or not. A one-on-one battle between two able warriors, said the potentate. It's scaly, so he's an Argonian. Whatever. His scale skin catching the sun as he rose. Armed befitting their culture. Sounds good, says the Emperor, and clapped his hands. Let the sport commence! As soon as he saw the two warriors enter the arena to the roar of the crowd, Emperor Remnant III remembered that he had agreed to this several months before and forgotten about it. One combatant was the potentate's son, Salvrin Chorak. Good enough, yeah, it's good enough. Oh god, my headphones are falling off. It's wonderful. A glistening ivory yellow eel. Oh, eel. Gripping his katana and a wakashishi with his thin, deceptively weak-looking arms. The other was the Emperor's son. Oh, okay. Prince Julek, in ebony armor, with a savage orcish helm, shield, and longsword at his side. This will be fascinating to watch, hissed the potentate, a wide grin across his narrow face. I don't know if I've ever seen a Khajiit fight an Akavar like this. Wait, Akavar? Usually it's army against army. At last we can settle which philosophy is better. To create armor to combat swords, as your people do, or to create swords to combat armor, as mine do. I'm sorry. Are we just nonchalantly introducing Akavari into the picture? I guess we are. Huh. So it's not a Khajiit. It's not a Argonian, unless they are somehow related. It's an Akavar. Anyway, carry on. Akavari, yes, that's right. No, I think both works. Yeah, whatever. Now, Akavari is the plural. Oh, is that right? Okay. No one in the crowd, aside from a few scattered Akavari councillors, and the potentate himself, wanted Sherivan Chorak to win. But there was a collective intake of breath at the sight of his graceful movements. His sword seemed to be a part of him. A tail coming from his arms? What? A tail coming from his arms to match the one behind him. So he has a tail. Wait, Akavari are what again? They're like Snake Man. They're snakes. Oh, okay. It was a trick of counterbalance, allowing the young Serpent Man, there you go. Okay, I should have just read on. The young Serpent Man to roll up into a circle and spin into the center of the ring in an offensive position. Wait, so he's doing a spin dash? Alright. Oh, with two swords! Oh, that'd be cool. I want to see that. The prince had to plod forward, the less impressive traditional way. As they sprang at each other, the crowd bellowed with delight. The Akavari was like a moon. Oh wait, now they're using Akavari as a singular. Whatever. The Akavari was like a moon in orbit. You know what I've learned in all my years of like doing academic papers and whatnot? It doesn't matter which way you pick. Just pick one. As long as you're consistent, no one gives a shit. This book fails because they quite clearly used Akavar as a singular here, and then they used Akavari as a plural here, and now they're using Akavari as a singular again. This makes me upset. I don't think I can read anymore. Alright, sorry. The Akavari was like a moon in orbit around the prince, effortlessly springing over his shoulder and to attempt a blow from behind. But the prince whirled around quickly to block with his shield. That's good. His counter-strike met only air, as his foe fell flat on the ground and slithered between his legs. Creepy. Tripping. Reminds me of Ninja Scroll, with the lady with the snake that comes out of a hoo-ha and bites the... Okay, moving on. The prince fell to the ground with a resounding crash. Metal and air melted together as Sovereign Chorak rained strike after strike upon the prince, who blocked every one with his shield. "We don't have shields in our culture," murmured Vestigial Shay to the emperor. "It seems strange to my boy, I imagine. In our country, if you don't want to get hit, you move out of the way." When Sovereign Chorak was rearing back to begin another series of blinding attacks, the prince kicked at his tail, sending him falling back momentarily. In an instant, he had rebounded, but the prince was also back on his feet. The two circled one another until the snake man sprang forward, katana extended. The prince saw his foe's plan and blocked the katana with his long sword and the wakizashi with his shield. Its short punching blade impaled itself in the metal, and Sovereign Chorak was thrown off balance. The prince's long blade slashed across the Avakar's... Avacar? Avocado? Whatever. The Akavar, thank you. The Akavar's chest. And the sudden, intense pain caused him to drop both of his weapons. Oh. Wait, what? Oh, he cut him in the... Oh, okay. In a moment. Wait, in a moment? No, it's a moment. No, I think that's supposed to be in a moment. In a moment, it was over. Sovereign Chorak was prostrate in the dust with the prince's long sword at his throat. "The game's over," shouted the emperor, barely heard over the applause of the stadium. The prince grinned and helped Sovereign Chorak up and over to a healer. The emperor clapped his... Wait, what? Clapped? You mean slapped? Clapped? Clapped someone on the back? I've never heard that before. The emperor clapped his potentate on the back. Oh, I can't do it. I can't. Hang on. Good enough. I just smacked my belly. That's good enough. Good enough sound effect. Feeling relieved. He had not realized when the fight had begun how little chance he had given his son at victory. "He will make a fine warrior," said Vestigial Shire, "and a great emperor." "Just remember," laughed the emperor, "you Akavari have a lot of showy moves, but if just one of our strikes come through, it's all over for you." "Oh, I'll remember that," nodded the potentate. Reman thought about that comment for the rest of the games, and had trouble fully enjoying himself. Could the potentate be another enemy, just as the Empress had turned out to be? The matter would bear watching. Alright, I need a drink after we read the next one. Who are we talking about? We're back in Mournhold. Okay. This is like Game of Thrones, we're jumping around in different areas. 21st of Morningstar, 29:20. Mournhold, Morrowind. Who are we talking about? The Duke of Mournhold. "Why don't you wear that green gown I gave you?" asked the Duke of Mournhold, watching the young maiden put on her clothes. Wait, who's Tulara? It doesn't fit, smiled Tulara. And you know I like red. It doesn't fit because you're getting fat, laughed the Duke, pulling down. Okay, hold on a second. I didn't know Elder Scrolls books were gonna go this way. Give me a minute to compose myself. It doesn't fit because you're getting fat, laughed the Duke, pulling her down. Wait. Pulling her down on the bed, kissing her breasts, and the pouch of her stomach. Wait, what? Is she a Khajiit? No, I mean, wait. Why would she have a pouch? I don't understand. She laughed at the tickles, but pulled herself up, wrapping her red robe around her. I'm round like a woman should be, said Tulara. Will I see you tomorrow? No, said the Duke. I must entertain Vivek tomorrow, and the next day the Duke of Ebonheart is coming. Do you know, I really appreciated Amalexia and her political skill until she left. It is the same with me, smiled Tulara. You will only appreciate me when I'm gone. That's not true at all, snorted the Duke. I appreciate you now. Tulara, oh god, here we go. Right, Tulara allowed the Duke one last kiss. Oh no, it's all over. Oh god, I was getting steamy there. I was going to have to unbutton my shirt there a little bit. But she was out the door. Before she was out the door, she kept thinking about what he had said. Would he appreciate her more or less when he knew that she was getting fat because she was carrying his child? Would he appreciate her enough to marry her? This year continues in Sun's Dawn. Alright, so to quickly sum the story up, Amalexia's dreaming about Vivek and having visions of the war ending. The Empress is like, hey, I should kill my husband because he's a dick. The Emperor's son and an Akavari's son had a little fight, but it's fine, maybe the Akavari guy's gonna kill him. And then the Duke of Mournhold is, I guess, impregnated. I don't know who Tulara is. I don't know if that's a real person. I can always look it up. Maybe I will. Alright, but that was Morningstar, Book 1 of 2920, The Last Year of the First Empire by Kavarak Townware. Next time we'll be reading... Actually, I don't know what the next year is, but it's Book 2. It is Sun's Dawn. There you go. We'll be reading Sun's Dawn next. But for now, my name is Leo, and I'll see you next time.